Hello guys, welcome to a brand new video. This video is specifically about some picks that I think will be very strong in the new durability update. And speaking about that, durability update in League of Legends, I think it's a great step that Riot chose to take. The game has had way too much snowballing and gold acceleration over the past few years. Every game, I either see I always see someone get stomped. It's top, bot, jungle, mid, doesn't matter. Every game there's someone that's 0-10 and the other guy is 10-0. And that creates scenarios with shutdown golds, too much plating, the new bounty rune that generates so much gold, and you feel like the game accelerates to late game in you're 20 minutes in and it's like hardcore late game and everyone has like 3 to 4 items, which is crazy. So I think this change, which I'm gonna talk about briefly what changes, it's gonna make the game a little bit slower, a little bit better balance. You won't feel like you're getting one shot and you don't know what you're getting one shot from. And with that, some picks will excel, and I think I have a good feeling about some picks that are gonna be very broken in the new update, and you can abuse them early on for free LP. So the changes. Every champion is gonna get an extra 70 HP level 1. That's extra 70 base health, 14 HP per level, 1.2 armor per level, 0.8 MR per level. All heals and shields are reduced by the stats you see on the screen, and grievous wounds as well as penetration items are going down. And we also have turrets deal a bit more AD to champions, and Baron Nashor has a little bit more damage, so it's harder to dive, it's harder to get early Barons, which is all great changes. I think it's been needed. Good job to Riot. I might make a separate video talking about that in depth. So now I want to talk about what gets better and worse, right? So some things, like, it's very clear that some champions will get buffed by this, some will get nerfed, some will get both buffed and nerfed. So an example of a champion that gets buffed and nerfed would be Ivern, Janna and Soraka. So why is that, you might say? Why? But you can see that shields and heals are going down, so why would I say that these champions are getting a nerf also? Wouldn't that be just a basic nerf? No, because giving all those base stats and HP and per level stats to every champion in the game will make the game a little bit less vulnerable in the early game and better for scaling. So these champions are great at scaling and great with playing with hyper carries, which is what the game will be more oriented to. So these are the kind of champions that will get both buffs and nerfs. I think some people have this misconception about tanks. Tanks will get worse with this update. You might say, oh, but penetration items are getting nerfed. Well, why is Ornn strong? Like, every tank relies on base damages, and tanks don't get damage items, so their damage doesn't go up. It just goes up by level and their base stats, right? So when you give champions extra tankiness, then you eliminate that potential of an Ornn one-shotting you, because if, let's say, an Ornn has 1000 damage in his combo and that makes him able to one-shot an AD carry, after you give these extra stats, the AD carry or the support or the squishy mid laner might survive that combo. And base stats is what tanks rely on, so tanks might actually need some buffs after this update. Then every late game champion, I think, is getting a buff from this, right? So your Kassadins, your Karthus, champions with true damage are getting buffed. Like, it's not a buff per se, it's due to the circumstances, they're gonna get stronger. Like Master Yi, Fiora, Vayne, late game champions like maybe Senna, Jinx, champions with a lot of utility like Fiddlesticks or Malzahar. These champions will be better. And then purely nerfed are the champions that rely on lethality and magic penetration. It's your LeBlancs are gonna get nerfed, your Lucians are gonna get nerfed, your Zeds, your Rengars. Champions that rely on early snowballing, like Elise or Kayn going blue. Those things will be nerfed because the biggest counter to those things are more MR, armor and HP, which everyone is getting from base stats. So we've painted the whole picture, right? What gets very strong from this in mid lane? And I think 3 picks are going to shine out very brightly in this update in mid lane, and it's going to be Xerath, Vel'Koz, and Kog'Maw. And Kog'Maw is AP. So why do I say this? Everyone is getting reduced healing in the game. Healing was very plentiful. Everyone had bloodline on ADs. You got it from runes, you got it from items, you got it everywhere. It's getting nerfed across the board. So poke champions are getting better for that reason. The game is getting a bit more late game oriented, and these picks will have a much greater time because their biggest counters are assassins, right? And if you tell a Vel'Koz and a Xerath and a Kog'Maw that he gets to play against a Syndra, they're just like, okay, I outrange her. Or against a Veigar, they just outrange them and they win and they're fine. So the game will get more late game oriented. They will get their 1 to 2 item power spikes. Healing is reduced, so poke is more significant. Shielding is reduced, so again, that's better because AP champions historically have had a bad time dealing with shields, so that's good for them. And everything points out towards more late game champions, but again, these champions are designed to counter everything that doesn't have engage. Like, if you can't get onto them and kill them, which is their biggest weakness, they thrive. So if we get to an AD carry meta, or a meta where you play slowly and the game progresses naturally, these champions will get a lot better. And I think Vel'Koz might be the shining one out of all three because he even has true damage, and true damage is amazing. So he's the hardest of the three, I think, to execute. But I think these champs get a very heavy buff with the new durability update. And I'd be happy to read upon all your opinions in the chat. What do you think? Leave it in the comments. But I really do believe that, like, Zed, Talon mid lane is gonna fade, LeBlanc is gonna fade, because until they buff these champions a little bit, maybe the extra base stats make a big difference for them. Their strength is in being able to kill you early. We might see more teleports coming in, less ignites, so this is all better for them. And again, a lot of other late game champions get hard countered by these super long range artillery mages. So Kayle is one example. She gets cucked by super long range. So does Vayne, so does like Jinx. So that were all my thoughts on this subject. I really want to try it out when it comes. The update is gonna be great for the game, I think. If you like this video, please consider giving it a like, comment, subscribing. Thank you for watching and sticking out till the end. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye, guys.